Took the screen. Back to Boston. Mismatch against Alicia Gray, and she buried it. Biggest lead of the night. And it's taken away by who else? Mitchell. Lexi Hall buried it to beat the buzzer. The flourish at the end of the third quarter for Indiana in a game they have to win, and they're up 15.
The refs had already stolen one game, and a brutal string of injuries had gutted their roster down to the bone. For the Indiana Fever, Game 2 of the WNBA playoffs wasn't just a must-win scenario. It was a fight for their very soul. They were expected to fold, to accept their fate after a season of relentless adversity. But as the team took the court, a different energy filled the arena, one born from anger and desperation. And when their anchor, Aliyah Boston, finally spoke after the final whistle, she revealed the stunning truth behind how a team on the brink of collapse pulled off one of the most dominant victories in franchise history.
Game 3, baby, game 3! See you in Atlanta. Not done yet.
One more.
Jump to the chat, baby. Come on, come on.
Need that.
One more game, baby, one more game!
Now this one on Lexi Hall got me riled up because this was early on in the game, and this was probably the best defense that Lexi could have played. If you watch this play here, Ryan Howard is going down, Lexi Hall's guarding her, Ryan goes behind her back, Lexi doesn't touch her because she's backpedaling the whole time, she has her hands straight up. Like, this is really good defense that Lexi played here.
The Aaron Gainbridge Fieldhouse was thick with resentment. Fans didn't just show up for a basketball game, they showed up demanding justice. The memory of Game 1 was still a fresh wound, a loss that felt less like a defeat and more like a heist. Whistles that seemed to blow only one way, calls that defied explanation, and a final score that felt manufactured. Social media had erupted with accusations of a rigged game, and the collective mood was one of deep distrust. This raw anger could have easily poisoned the team, leading to frustration and unfocused play. Instead, the Fever channeled it into a cold, calculated rage. They knew they couldn't just beat the Atlanta Dream. They had to deliver a performance so undeniable that no amount of controversial officiating could influence the outcome. But that was only half the battle, because the war being waged inside their own locker room was even more daunting.
There's a certain desperation that has to come with how you play every possession. I didn't feel like in Game 1 we played with that desperate mentality that we needed, particularly when you look at 50-50 balls, when you look at how many times, we didn't get inside the three-point line for a defensive rebound and the ball hit the floor and they were able to get it. There's got to be a desperation that you play with and a sense of urgency that you play with at all times. We didn't have that consistently for 40 minutes in Game 1. I expect us to have it here tonight.
Stephanie White wants to see her go downhill, be more aggressive offensively. This is a great matchup. Boston against Jones.
Just a fun matchup between two big posts with size, with good.
This is the other Howard, Natasha for Indiana. Powers with the board, goes up, tough one and got it!
Walking into a do-or-die playoff game is hard enough. Walking into it with a ghost roster is nearly impossible. Before the ball even tipped, the Fever's injury report read like a casualty list from a war zone. 5 players were out. The names were staggering. Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson, Chloe Bibby, and Ari McDonald were all sidelined. But the biggest blow was the one that echoed across the entire league. Caitlin Clark, the superstar rookie who had single-handedly transformed the franchise, was ruled out for the season. The player who drew double teams and created open looks for everyone else was now just a spectator. The team's offensive engine was gone, their depth was obliterated, and their margin for error had shrunk to 0. The question wasn't just who would step up, it was whether there was even anyone left to answer the call.
Great job! That was a masterclass on the defensive end of the court. Hell yeah, ladies, hell yeah! It really was. It really was. I mean, I'm so proud of you. Stepped up to the challenge, back against the wall, and our back is against the wall every fucking game. Come on. But y'all, look, I'm proud of you. We ain't finished though, right? We ain't finished. KK, way to be ready. Yeah! The second half, your aggressiveness, it was a difference maker. What it opens up with the gravity that you create is huge for us. You gotta stay aggressive. Hell yeah, Together!
Head coach Stephanie White stared at the impossible odds and knew that strategy alone wouldn't be enough. Before the game, she spoke to the media, and her words cut through the noise. She spoke of a missing ingredient from Game 1, a single word that would define their entire season: desperation. She said, "There's got to be a desperation that you play with and a sense of urgency that you play with at all times." This wasn't just generic coach speak, it was a direct challenge to the heart of her team. She was demanding they transform their anger and their fear into fuel. She was calling for them to play every single possession as if their careers depended on it, because in that moment, their season did. It was a gut check, a plea for her players to tap into a primal level of fight that Atlanta wouldn't be prepared for, and what happened next was the deafening answer to her call.
And they have allowed her in their half-court sets so far to just take open drive to the rim. There's the three. I don't think, and fans didn't appreciate how good Kelsey Mitchell is, and they're certainly getting an eyeful this year. Here she goes. She's guarded by Petty, takes it right to the basket and misses. It's a hit for Mitchell.
From the very first possession, the Indiana Fever played with a ferocity that left the Atlanta Dream completely stunned. They scored first, and they never looked back. There were no lead changes. There were no ties. For 40 straight minutes, Indiana held the lead in a wire-to-wire chokehold, the first time they had accomplished such a feat in a playoff game in over 2 decades. This wasn't just a win, it was a public execution of the narrative that had haunted them since Game 1. They completely erased any opportunity for controversy by building a lead so large and defending so relentlessly that the referees became irrelevant bystanders. They didn't just win the game, they dictated its every term. The Fever's defense was a masterclass in suffocation. Atlanta, a team built on explosive perimeter shooting, couldn't find an inch of breathing room. They went a miserable 1 for 10 from three-point range in the first half, and their struggles only continued. Every shot was contested, every pass was deflected, and every possession ended in frustration. Indiana had ripped up Atlanta's game plan and rewritten it with their own brand of relentless physical defense.
Kelsey, you've had a lot of moments with this franchise throughout the years. Where does leading them to a playoff win at home kind of rank among those?
Oh, man, it takes a village. I think we all piggyback off each other within our group and our organization. So I think it took a collective group effort to be able to be here. And I think that I think our first win here was big for us because we've been resilient throughout the course of the year. And it was just, I don't know, it felt really good to see ourselves on top and do something great for a change. When it comes to us being resilient, have to fight off a lot of ups and downs, backs and forth. And so it felt good for us to really, come out on top tonight.
With their roster decimated, the question that hung over the arena was deafening. Who could possibly fill the void left by Caitlin Clark and 4 other players? The answer came not from one person, but from a collective resolve that was stunning to watch. Kelsey Mitchell, the team's veteran heart, put the offense on her back. She poured in a game-high 19 points, draining 4 three-pointers that felt like daggers every time Atlanta even hinted at a comeback. Without Clark's gravity pulling defenders away, Mitchell had to create her own space, and she did so with a fierce determination that announced this was her stage now. Alongside her was Natasha Howard, the team's enforcer. She battled for every rebound, fought for every loose ball, and chipped in 12 crucial points. Her game wasn't flashy, but it was pure grit. The kind of relentless effort that grinds opponents down, but the most shocking contribution came from a player nobody expected. Rookie Michaela Timpson, who had seen limited minutes all season, was thrown into the fire. In just 9 minutes, she exploded for 9 points, playing with a fearless confidence that defied her experience. Her sudden burst of energy was an injection of pure momentum, proving that even at its thinnest, this Fever roster had hidden weapons. But while these players laid the foundation for the win, one single moment would send the entire arena into a state of pandemonium.
Stephanie White wants to see her go downhill, be more aggressive offensively. This is a great matchup. Boston against Jones.
Just a fun matchup between 2 big posts with size, with good anything.
Boston up, under, and in. Both teams around that 40% mark. They didn't hit that in game 1, and that's a good way to go for Natasha Howard. Gray goes down. What is she? Good patience by Howard.
showing that Indiana's depth has surprises it can still reveal.
Boston bottled up, but found Timpson. Another good pass from Boston.
As the final seconds of the third quarter ticked away, the ball found its way to Lexi Hull. She was behind the arc with the buzzer about to sound. Without hesitation, she let it fly. The moment the ball left her hands, the collective breath of the crowd was held in suspense, and then it happened. That shot was pure. Ripping through the net as the buzzer blared, Gainbridge Fieldhouse erupted. The noise was a tidal wave of relief, joy, and defiance. A sound fans had been waiting nearly a decade to unleash in a home playoff game. Hull's shot did more than just extend the lead to 15. It was the emotional dagger that broke Atlanta's spirit. You could see it on their faces. The realization that this wasn't their night. This was Indiana's night. That single shot symbolized everything the Fever had become: resilient, clutch, and completely unafraid. And at the center of it all, orchestrating the chaos with a quiet intensity, was the leader who had finally stepped out of the shadows.
Set the screen. Back to Boston. Mismatch against Aliyah Gray, and she buried it. Biggest lead of the night, and it's taken away by who else? Mitchell. Lexi Hall buried it to beat the buzzer. The flourish at the end of the third quarter for Indiana in a game they have to
Boston's
win.
impact on this
And
game
they're up
could
15.
never be captured by a simple box score. With Caitlin Clark gone, the offense needed a new anchor, a new focal point to run through. Boston became that anchor. She didn't just score 15 points, she manipulated the entire game from the post. She knew Atlanta's game plan was to double team her, to suffocate her in the paint. In the past, this tactic might have slowed her down, but in this game, she turned their aggression into a weapon against them. Every time a second defender came, Boston would find the open cutter, swing the ball to an open shooter, and create easy looks for her teammates. She was playing chess while Atlanta was playing checkers. Her poise under pressure was immense, but it was her words after the game that revealed the team's true mindset. When asked about their performance, she didn't hold back. She called their defense a master class and described the locker room as a scene of pure, unadulterated belief. Her voice carried the conviction of a leader who not only believed her team could win, but now knew exactly how to make it happen.
Bench, Nia Coffey in for her. She's got to take advantage of those opportunities as the defense is reacting to Bree Jones, and Aliyah Boston was cooking a little bit.
The 77-60 victory was more than just a win. It was a resurrection. The Indiana Fever, a team left for dead after controversy and injury, had just delivered one of the most emphatic statements of the entire WNBA playoffs. They didn't just survive, they thrived. But their journey is far from over. Now the series shifts back to Atlanta for a final brutal do-or-die Game 3. The psychological landscape, however, has been completely transformed. The pressure is no longer on Indiana. They are playing with house money, fueled by the powerful confidence that comes from staring into the abyss and not flinching. The pressure is now squarely on the shoulders of the Atlanta Dream, who have to defend their home court against a team that just dismantled them piece by piece. The Fever silenced the refs, they silenced the doubters, and they proved they can win without their superstar. They've rewritten their own story, and now, with everything on the line, they have the chance to add the most shocking chapter yet.
What stood out to you about able to get going? It looked like there were some turnovers elsewhere, and so you kind of put it into your own hands and had that nice run before some foul calls.
Yeah, I think for me, just continue to be assertive, just reading the defense, trying to get good possessions going. If I just get the ball, feel it out, see where the ball needs to go next, whether that's shoot it or pass it, I mean, I'm just kind of just taking what the defense is giving me.